This clip contains content that some may find distressing or disturbing, including graphic references to sexual abuse, assault, and violence. The media has, from the very beginning, looked to pretend that Donald Trump is more reasonable, more presidential once he was elected than he actually is. And we see them falling into that trap once again as these COVID press conferences begin. Now, to his credit, Trump said that things are likely to get worse before they get better. Kind of wish he'd said that at the very beginning. If he'd acknowledged it and taken it seriously, maybe the worst wouldn't have been quite as bad as it was. And he is now saying that people should wear masks. And because he did that, the media has been saying things like, on ABC News Politics, the president is displaying a new tone and a new level of engagement. Reuters, President Trump, in a shift in rhetoric and tone, encouraged Americans to wear masks. I can just see the football being put out in front of him and the media running up to kick it, and he's going to pull it out. But it's not just like the social media managers of two, news outlets. All over the media, like the morning shows, it's been new tone, substantive change, rhetoric shift, a swing in approach, a new gravitas. It's been over and over and over and over again. And JR, I'm sure you, like I, hope that that's true. Maybe because it's in his political interests, it will be. Maybe he'll defy everything we know about him and his movement.
By doing what? By continuing down this line of reading from the teleprompter, what they told him to prepare to say. I'm going to give a prediction. I don't like giving predictions because who knows, right? But it's what's going to happen. Of course, the media jump back on being his buddy and his pal because for some reason they still want validation from him, or they want to be seen as being fair. But this is going to turn into another campaign event. He said he's going to do these more frequently. Look, I got more of these planned. We're going to be talking about things like the economy. So if you're going to come back and start talking about things like the economy, you're going to start talking about how you are going to try and pose this election again, because his only campaign message was the economy is so awesome. The campaign is so awesome. Yeah. It's great. I've created an economy when this country was a third world country until I showed up. He's pushing that rhetoric. So he's not able to have his campaign events. And we saw what he did with the other press conference when he turned into a campaign event bashing on Biden. Yeah. This is going to be a continuing campaign event where he's going to try and pose himself as this person who's done these things and this someone else hasn't done these things or can't do these things. This is going to turn into the same thing he's always done, back to him.
If you're right, JR, then it is important that we have a media that will understand the full context of who he is and how honest he and his media representatives, Kellyanne Conway and Kayleigh McEnany, are. And so we don't have that, but here is what we have.
Change in tone from the president.
President Trump takes a somber new tone.
The president to adopt this different tone.
We're seeing a drastic change in tone.
The change in tone.
The president changing his tone.
And a shift in tone.
A real shift in tone for the president.
The shift in tone from the White House.
A more serious tone.
And a change of tone.
President Trump sharply changed his tone.
President Trump is also significantly changing his tone.
A tone of seriousness from the president.
Okay, we could go on for a long time, and The Daily Show has a video of that that's even longer. That's in less than a day. How did there's online thesauruses you could go to, and you can get other words to express the same naivete if you want to. I don't know how they could all land on the same thing. It's Donald Trump. Yes, he wore the mask. He implied that it's patriotic. That is good. Thank you, kind sir. And I hope that he sticks with it because it matters. Because so many lives are on the line. But who knows what he's going to say at the next COVID press conference? Who knows what he's going to tell you to inject into your body?
Yeah. So once you're, if you're an anchor on one of these shows, John, you get that script and that teleprompter to read. Trump's changing tone. Trump's changing tone. His change in tone has been stark change in tone. You'd have to give some. I mean, I would, and maybe they'd be upset me. Insert some kind of caveat. It's like, oh, I'm reading that they're saying Trump has a change in tone, which many believe could be fake, considering his past comments on this. Like, you got to give some context that this change in tone came from a disastrous tone that was completely disregarding this entire pandemic. And as anyone who was following the orders that he's now saying we should do, kind of, that those people are un-American.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
Come on, media. There's an election on. We need you to be better.
You can say there's a change in tone, but at least tell us what the previous tone was and for how long it was there.
That's true. Yeah, if you want to give him credit, and look, maybe Reuters and ABC News are doing a version of what we're doing, which is, okay, this guy is a 4-year-old. We have to pat him on the head. That's the only way he's going to stick with it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But don't forget what he's already done and how many people have died as a result of it. That's all I'm saying.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.